I call Michelle Ballantyne to be followed by Pauline McNeill.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. Today, as people have said before me, we have taken a historic step in creating a Scottish welfare system that is accountable to and tailored for the Scottish people. And as Adam Tompkins has already intimated, this bill is enthusiastically supported this evening on these benches. Through the mechanisms of devolution and in line with the proposals set out in the Smith Commission, the UK Government have transferred legislative competence over 11 social security benefits, as well as the right to top up benefits reserved to the UK Parliament, and some rights to create new benefits, enhancing not only the power of this Parliament, but also its responsibilities. The bill sets out 7 principles for Scottish social security, but perhaps the most important of which is that respect for the dignity of individuals is to be at the heart of Scottish social security. Colleagues across this chamber have worked hard to ensure that this legislation delivers that respect. And whilst there were some disagreements for such a complex and challenging legislative area, its progress has been characterised by mature and thoughtful debate at every stage. During today's debate, it was acknowledged that the most difficult aspect of this bill was delivering a system that delivers fair and dignified benefits for those who are facing life-limiting illnesses. I would like to thank my colleague Jeremy Balfour, who brought forward amendments in this area and has worked hard to secure a fairer deal for the terminally ill, and also to pay tribute to the advice and support of MND and Marie Curie that has guided us through this complex issue. I am delighted that the Minister came forward last week with an amendment that could be unanimously supported, and I hope that it will provide flexibility and a person-centred approach to benefits for those who are facing terminal illness. However, despite the smooth progress of the bill as a whole, I do still hold some reservation about some aspects of implementation. We have created the framework, but as my colleague Adam Tompkins made clear, the detail will now be with the ministers to sort out. And I also take note of the Auditor-General's recent report on the implementation of the Scotland Acts, which makes clear that, much like the expansion to 1,140 hours of free childcare, there is still much work to be done if Scotland is to have a successful social security system that delivers on time and within budget. Worryingly, the Auditor-General's report states the Scottish Government has not estimated the total cost of implementation or the extent to which this will exceed the UK Government's agreed contribution, with the excess requiring funder from the wider Scottish budget. Although I understand that the Scottish Government is developing a 5-year financial plan to examine this issue, I agree with the Auditor-General's opinion that more detailed estimate of costs are required as the social security system develops, particularly in relation to IT systems, service delivery and recruitment. In conclusion, Presiding Officer, under the Smith Commission, further tax-raising powers have been devolved to Scotland, and the Scottish Government should ensure that the costs of this programme are kept within our means, both for the benefit of taxpayers and to ensure that our other public services maintain their current levels of funding in keeping with the principles of this bill. In the spirit of this principle, I ask the Scottish Government to take heed of the Auditor-General's recommendations to provide greater transparency and to implement as soon as possible the proposed fiscal policies of the Director-General's Scottish Exchequer to ensure that costs do not spiral. That said, this has been a historic day and a day I think we can all be proud of. Thank you.
Pauline McNeill, followed by George Adam.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. It's been an emotional journey, I think, for everyone involved in the creation of Scotland's very first and new social security system. We've all learned so much, and I know there's been an incredible amount of hard work involved. Creating a system that has dignity and respect at the heart of it is easier said than done. But that's what we all want to achieve. And after months of hard work, scrutiny at the stages of the bill, we are certainly a lot closer than we were. I would also like to put on record my thanks to the clerks, all of the witnesses, third sector organisations, the legal team, who I have to say have been absolutely brilliant when you phone them and say, I'd like to do this, an amendment appears by magic, and I know there's an awful lot of hard work behind that. I'd like to also put on record my thanks to Jeanette Campbell, Chris Borland,